Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture.
And I'm Andy Murray from WhatCulture, and today we're going to talk about Velveteen Dream's return to WWE NXT last night, and on top of that, Cody has revealed the new AEW TNT title design at last.
Plus, more matches were added to NXT TakeOver last night, and fans were in attendance for AEW Dynamite too. Plus, you really want to stick around for today's and finally. This is the news.
So let's talk about Velveteen Dream. He is back in NXT. His first appearance since June when he wrestled Adam Cole for the NXT Championship at TakeOver in Your House. He was the mystery man in a three-way qualifier for the North American title ladder match that goes down at TakeOver Triple X. TakeOver Vin Diesel, as we call it in my household. He didn't win the match. It was Kushida and Cameron Grimes. They were the other participants, and Grimes took the victory over Kushida. Afterwards, there was a face-off with Finn Balor. Dream and Finn Balor are going to wrestle next week, and the winner of that is going to go into the ladder match. So there's considerable amounts of stuff to unpack here, probably more than we have time for on a video such as this, but of course, April saw Dream hit with some really severe allegations regarding his alleged conduct with minors. He denied those at the time. There were screenshots and some other stuff going around. His career kind of progressed on from there. And then, of course, the speaking out movement comes along in June, which is when it peaked. The old claims were amplified once more. There were some new ones coming to light as well. Later in June, he has a car accident. He's hospitalized from that. So he's had a lot going on. He denied those initial allegations in April. He has since wiped his Twitter account, like it's just totally blank. Situations like this are kind of hard to reconcile because you don't know the extent of WWE's investigations and so forth. However, I think bringing the guy back so soon, particularly when you make such a big song and dance with a mystery opponent angle, it's not the most tasteful thing the promotion could have done. I felt gross watching this, felt gross just covering it right here, right now. It is what it is. He's back. He's going to have an opportunity to compete at TakeOver.
Yeah, it's tough to know how to react to all this. Like, you obviously want to presume innocence until guilt has been proven. But like you say, there were screenshots that circulated. We're not making any allegations here. But especially in the wake of the speaking out movement, you don't really want to be seen celebrating something. You know, I've seen a lot of people, for example, on the Twitter thread after the WWE, made the announcement about Dream returning to NXT. A lot of people arguing about whether or not it's too soon, like Andy has said, whether it's appropriate. And then there are others saying, well, if he's back, then surely WWE has carried out a thorough investigation and found no wrongdoing. I wouldn't automatically jump to that mindset, to be perfectly honest.
No, not at all.
Look, I think what we need is a lot more clarification from WWE around this. I think a lot more people would feel not better, but just would be able to enjoy Dream being back in NXT a lot more if we knew what was going on. If WWE issued a statement, for example, like they did that when they said they were looking into the Matt Riddle allegations, etc. I just don't know how to feel right now, if I'm perfectly honest, because, I love Dream as a wrestler. I thought it was a good surprise. I mean, we didn't expect it. We were talking about on the preview yesterday and guessing people like Ciampa, for example. Dream wasn't mentioned for the exact reason Andy said. We felt that, well, surely won't be that with this case and with what's going on right now. I don't know. It's really something really hard to wake up to, I found today.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just go straight down the line. I think this is absolutely appalling. I just don't understand how you can make such a big presentation. Oh, we got a mystery. It's that guy. I don't know. I find the whole thing very tasteless. But, this is a longer discussion for another video, another situation, perhaps.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the other stuff that went down on NXT last night, because we finally got confirmation of the NXT Championship match that will go down at TakeOver Kiss Kiss Kiss, as we call it in my house. It's going to be Keith Lee defending his NXT Championship against Karrion Kross. That was confirmed last night. Karrion Kross murdering Danny Burch. Following that, Keith Lee came down to the ring with a contract. He said he'd signed it. William Regal had signed it. He just needed Kross's signature. Handed it over. Kross signed it. Scarlett gave it a lovely little kiss, and then when Keith Lee opened it up to, I don't know, check Karrion Kross had signed the right line. I don't know. Massive fireball in his face. He's blinded. He has to be taken to a local medical facility. It's sort of fun bollocks that I quite like if I'm in my wrestling, if I'm perfectly honest, but I think it's been fairly divisive, it's fair to say. So Keith Lee versus Karrion Kross joins Pat McAfee versus Adam Cole at TakeOver a week on Saturday, of course, as well as Io Shirai versus Dakota Kai for the NXT Women's Championship. And as Andy mentioned, the NXT North American Championship match, which is going to feature Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, one of Johnny Gargano or Ridge Holland, one of Finn Balor or Velveteen Dream, and the eventual winner, the guy who's going straight to the moon, baby, Cameron Grimes.
The only issue I have with all of this, right, is that if you're going to run the fireball angle, why would you not revive the greatest pay-per-view name in WWE history, NXT TakeOver Great Balls of Fire? You people who came up with that name, the original one, are geniuses. The people who came up with TakeOver Vin Diesel are morons, let me tell you. Let's pivot over to AEW for a little bit. TNT title, finally we got its finished design. Of course, when it was unveiled at Double or Nothing, it was told to us that it was not the final form because the manufacturers had ceased operations for a while because of the ongoing global health crisis, the global bastard, the big bastard, Tony Bone. But we finally got the finished version. Gold plating has been added. It's a brand new belt, in fact. Cody unveiled it in a little video uploaded to AEW's social media before the show. He then had it on the show where he defeated Scorpio Sky. The original belt design was met with mass criticism. It was not a good-looking title at all. Definitely looked unfinished. But the new one, I think, is significantly better. The gold and silver has a nice effect. You got the little kind of sparkly TNT thing in the middle of the shiny plate. It's a cool looking belt now. It's much improved. Adam Wilborn, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know how I would have felt if this had been the initial reveal, but I do feel that, like you say, Andy, comparing it to what they used to have, it's a vast improvement. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. So did Brody Lee have the old version of that belt? Because Brody Lee popped up and challenged Cody basically for a match next Saturday. Basically clear your weekend, because next weekend we've got a moved Dynamite because of the NBA, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
I think so. Right. We've mentioned this a few news videos ago that Dynamite's going to have to shift around in TNT schedule for a few weeks. So we've got that on Saturday, TakeOver, Kiss Kiss Kiss, and then SummerSlam on Sunday. The weekend's gone, basically, is all I'm saying. That's what's going to happen. But yeah, I really like this championship. I can't remember who it was that I first saw holding it. It was the referee in that TNT championship match who held it up. For the life of me, I can't remember who it is. It'll come to me, I'm sure. But yeah, I like this TNT championship. We also saw on last night's AEW Dynamite, there was fans in attendance. There was a sweeping shot of a select number of audience members. Ryan Satin of Pro Wrestling Sheet reported that AEW had quietly allowed, of course, audience to attend night 2 of Fyter Fest in July, around 60 of them, sponsors, family and friends of sponsors of either Daily's Place or the Jacksonville Jaguars. No word on last night's. Now, there is an image shown from last night's that seems to suggest a lack of social distancing, but I have seen other images on social media this morning that may be that it's just a sort of trick of the angle a little bit, because there's another one, take a shot from someone who's in the crowd taken from behind, and it does seem to show a lot more adherence to the 2 meter rule or social distancing. Everyone's obviously wearing masks now. Apparently, when it comes to Fyter Fest, just use that as an example, people were asked to sign waivers to say they hadn't come in contact with anyone who'd had the ongoing global bastard. No words if anyone was tested last night before they entered the building, although, as we've mentioned before, those tests are iffy at best. Mixed emotions with this, Andy. Great to see fans back in attendance, but there's always, until we get the all clear, there's always going to be that worry, this fear in my chest when it comes to this sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a natural reaction, isn't it? The images that we've seen, the still images that were kind of circulating, were taken at angles that made it impossible, really, to tell how far apart people were sat. Like, they were from the bottom, and when you're looking up at something, you have no real depth perception, so you don't know how far apart people really are. All we can really do is hope that people follow the guidelines. No guidelines are infallible. Masks aren't foolproof. Social distancing, depending on the distance, isn't always foolproof. testing isn't foolproof. There's no ideal solution to any of this. You can only hope that when things like this happen, as many precautions as possible are taken. But still watching it, man, I still get a little bit of anxiety going, oh, people in a group? Ooh! So, you know, just kind of want the world to go back to normal now. Can we get a vaccine, please? That'd be nice.
There was that shot I saw doing on social media yesterday of the music festival in Newcastle with like weird seat areas and stuff. That is the new normal, it seems, right now. Although, as I saw someone tweeting, I'm getting old now. Sitting down at a festival sounds absolutely lovely. But yeah, we'll keep you posted on any developments with this. But we can only go with what we've been given right now. I want to see fans back as soon as possible, obviously. But I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, and if it is, it's going to be a bit like this, which is sporadic at best. Right, should we move on to Twitter questions at WhatCulture WWE? Of course, if you want to get in touch with us. First question today comes from Sean Ackland, dealing with what happened on last night's AEW Dynamite in the main event. Orange beat Jericho, says Sean. Do you guys think this is the victory could slowly snowball Orange Cassidy into being a champion within the next year? I think at this point, Orange Cassidy as TNT champion is an inevitability at least.
Yeah, I think it's a good move. TNT title feels like about the right level. If you sit and look at the numbers and the quarter-hour ratings like a bad nerd like me, you'll notice like AEW fans, people tune in en masse for Orange Cassidy when he's doing cool mid-card stuff. Maybe as the first hour transitions into the second, but the difference is not quite as pronounced when he's in the main event spotlight, which suggests to me that people love seeing him doing his thing kind of down there, but they're not quite ready for him to be at the absolute top level yet. So yes, I like your suggestion. TNT title's a mid-card belt. Typically, it's just at the end of the first hour, beginning of the second. It's a good spot for him. I think it'll happen.
Yes, he does not have to pay the $7,000 for ruining Chris Jericho's jacket. Of course, it was a great spot with Chris Jericho chatting to whoever the referee was in that match.
I forget his name, man.
Nah, it'll come to me. It'll leave it with me. No doubt this will obviously lead to a sort of rubber match at All Out, possibly even with Painmaker Jericho. We can but dream. Second question today comes from Camino, who talks about Jericho. Camino says, considering how over Jericho's entrance is, would it be worth AEW paying to use licensed music for entrances? Would that help hook some of the casual fans by associating a known song with an unknown performer?
I think paid licensed entrances are awesome. You go and watch the old ECW shows on the network and they're all dubbed over and it's nowhere near the same, man. It's just, it loses a lot of the atmosphere. However, I kind of feel not too confident about answering that question until I knew how much these things cost. I have no real knowledge of that. So I can't give you a straight down the line answer, unfortunately. I would love to be able to. But I'll just say that I do love licensed entrance themes. However, AEW's entrance themes are a lot better now than they were when the promotion launched as well.
Exactly, and I think it's also a case of just getting used to it. Obviously, Judas is very catchy and gets everyone singing along, but you know, I'm sure there's old WWE themes now that weren't, you know, properly licensed songs that you adored, but it was just a case of you got conditioned to it over months and years, so that you could turn around and see in a few weeks, months, whenever it may be, that you'll sing along to themes you really didn't expect. But I like that as an idea, but I wouldn't just go. The difficulty is because AEW wants to present itself obviously fairly as a level playing field. I wouldn't just chuck money for everyone's entrance theme. No. I don't know whether that's fair or not, but at the end of the day, there's some entrances that you need to have licensed music because they're going to be used on a regular basis, and other people who, you know, barely make it onto AEW Dark, for example, who don't really need a licensed song. Not yet, anyway. We'll say, leave it at that. Final question today comes from Timothy Banks. This relates to a podcast that myself and Michael Sidgwick did yesterday on potential opponents for Bayley at SummerSlam. Of course, there's that Battle Royale featuring stars of Raw, SmackDown and NXT going down on Friday night. Timothy asked, though, do you think WWE would bring in legends like Trish Stratus, Amy Dumas, aka Lita, of course, or Molly Holly for the tri-brand Women's Battle Royal on SmackDown? I would love to see any of them face Bayley. I hadn't even considered this, Andy. Bringing legends in on Friday night would be a great move, I think.
It'd be a great move. It'd be a great way to have just a one-off fun match on SummerSlam. We saw it with Trish and Charlotte the other year. That was a good little match. Retirement match for Trish as well, of course. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I think something like Bayley versus Lita would be very good on SummerSlam. Yeah, it's not going to be a 5-star classic or whatever, but who the hell cares? It's not about that. Yeah, it's a good idea. I'm into it. Lita would probably be my top pick. Although Molly Holly has looked better than probably anyone in her fleeting outings as well. So that'd be cool too. Yeah,
it certainly would get Phil Chambers' vote when it comes to Molly Holly. But yeah, I love this idea. I didn't even think about it when we talked about it yesterday. We were talking about, NXT stars, Rhea Ripley, Tegan Knox, for example, to come in and face Bayley. But for a match that you sense Bayley's probably going to win, you couldn't go far wrong with just bringing a legend in for a one-off performance and potentially pique a bit more interest in SummerSlam. Right, let's move on to today's and finally. And it was worth the wait, wasn't it? Because guess who came back last night on AEW Dynamite? He returned to television, He made his first appearance on All Elite Wrestling. Mike Chioda is All Elite. Well, we don't know if he's properly signed a contract, but he was the referee for the TNT Championship match, and as I mentioned, the main event match between Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy. Chris Jericho even doing a backstage segment with him beforehand going, do you mind just cheating? I kept your job once, so how about you help me out again? But of course, the legendary Mike Chioda wouldn't do anything like that. Andy Murray, fantastic to see him back on TV, back refereeing. He is the best referee in the business ever. Is it Mike Chioda the best referee ever? Yes, he is, in my opinion. I adore him. Great to see him back on TV. As we said, no word on whether or not he's signed with All Elite Wrestling. But fingers crossed we get that Mike Chioda is All Elite very soon, because he's just like a recognisable face who fans naturally trust, I'd say, as a referee as well.
Yeah, he's just really good at his job, isn't he? So I hope he gets the deal. He deserves it.
He was one of the biggest shocks for me with the Black Wednesday releases. I was like, sorry, Mike? Yeah, how could you do that? But yes, great to see him back, and apologies in advance to any All Elite Wrestling fans for when fans actually return for ruining matches with previous mentioned chant. But congratulations, Mike, and well done to Cody and the gang for bringing him in, even if it was just for one night. Let us know your thoughts on that and all of today's news stories in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. Myself and Michael Sidgwick reviewing the Wednesday Night War a little bit later on today. Plus, you can let us know your thoughts and questions on Twitter at WhatCulture WWE, and watch there. Follow both of us. You can follow Andy Murray at
Andy H Murray. The H stands for H.
Good. You can follow me at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE, as I said. But for now, it's good to see Mike Chioda back. My thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.